Fabulous, Elke.
Thank you.
I tell you what, now you've got no idea who's on the other side of the screen and you had headphones on. What's your ambition in life?
Well, I'd like to be a full-time actress, Greg.
What are you doing a bit part-time now?
A bit of part-time, and I'm working as a full-time clerk.
That'd be good. What kind of a man are you looking for?
Oh, somebody who's honest, caring, and spontaneous.
Spontaneous. I'm sure these blokes are. You can't lose tonight. Please take a seat. Elke. There is Elke. OK, Elke, we'll dive straight into this because there's a bit of fun to be had here. First question, please.
Contestant number 1. If you never had to work again in your life, what would you do with all your spare time?
Well, Elke, I think I'd just like to relax and want to experience the things that I've never done before.
Number 2?
I think I'd just travel the world and live it up and have a good time.
Sounds good.
Done much travelling so far?
A little bit.
Right. And number 3, same question.
I think I'd just like to buy a billiard hall and just perfect the art, basically.
Cameron's pool room.
I think I'd have to say contestant number 2, live it up.
OK. Live it up, number 2 scores. And Elke, second question, please.
Contestant number 2, I'm not a perfect 10. What would you rate yourself and why?
Well, Elke, I'm just an average bloke, and with modesty being my forte. That's it, just Mr. Average.
And what's a fair rating for you, number 3?
Elke, I consider myself a normal, everyday sort of a guy, but I have a mother that loves me.
And number 1?
Don't sound impressed, Elke.
Yeah, I do. I'm listening.
Maybe number 1 will
thinking.
tickle your fancy.
And number 1, on a
Elke,
scale of 1 to 10?
I rate myself a number 1 try at most things.
I think I'd have to say contestant number 3, Greg.
Number 3, OK, the one whose mum loves him. All right, Elke, we'll see if we can sort a few things out here now as number 3 asks you his question.
Elke, I'm a loans officer in a bank. What do you look for in a man that you'd also want from your bank?
Well, I'd have to say high interest rates, easy access.
Number 1, your question?
I like playing rugby league. Why are you the sort of girl I'd like to tackle?
Well, I think it would have to be because I'm fun, cuddly. I'd give you a run for your money and you wouldn't want to let me go.
Ooh. Gee, I can just imagine that. Number 2?
Elke, what's the ideal career your future husband should have?
I don't think it really matters what career, just as long as it's stable and he's happy and content with what he's doing.
Now, of those 3, Elke, which do you choose for that round?
Ooh, I'd have to say number 1.
Number 1. Look what Elke's done. 1 match to each of these 3 blokes. They're looking pretty. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back and find out who Elke chooses for her very special blind date.
Love game destinations each day. Note down your name and address and send your entry to Blind Date Competition, Post Office Box 3500, Richmond, Victoria 3121.
Thanks, everybody. Well, we're back now. Elke is in the hot seat. She has had 1 match with each of our 3 blokes tonight, and she's had plenty of time to think. Which one are you going to choose?
Greg, I'd have to say the number 1 try, contestant number 1.
Number 1! Without any warning, he's shocked. Well, he is a number 1 trier, actually, and I tell you what, I'll tell you more about him later. But first of all, you turn down contestant number 2. Please come across. This bloke plays centre for the Balmain Tigers. Say hello to Tim Brasher. Good on you, Tim. Thanks for coming on the show. You also turned down contestant number 3, and he's also a rugby league player for St George Dragons. This is Cameron Way. Thanks, Cameron. Good short too, isn't he, eh? Right, now come across. By now you will have guessed that you have chosen a rugby league player for your special date. Contestant number 1, and he plays lock forward position for the Canberra Raiders. Elke Barker, please meet Bradley Clyde. Wow, you got your tall, dark, handsome footballer. Oh, a very special den of date for you. Craig, please tell them all about it.
Elke and Bradley.